track is shaping up very nicely. We have a good melodic intro, and then we have a good sort of a build-up, and then it is time to start working on the drop and the riser for the drop. Before I go there though, sometimes when you start Ableton or when you tweak certain variables, this little red button comes on. And this basically means is that we're in free mode. So basically what we started doing is we started tweaking knobs that have been automated. And so Ableton says, okay, do you want to ignore it and tweak them live or no? So this button usually is on during live performance. So usually we can find out what the problem is by going through our automations. And right here you can see for this massive we've started tweaking some of the knobs while this has been animated. So we're going to want to turn that off. And that makes it go back to the red line, and so it has effect on the track once again. So that's what that means. Okay, so now it's time to start working on our riser. We have a good solid track in place here, and what we want to do is we want to sort of slowly build it up, and then over time get more and more kicks in there. So let's start doing that. Let's start, for example, with this sound. And instead of using that full melody, we're gonna make it somewhat of a simpler melody because it's a build-up. So let's alt drag that over and go, for example, we'll do this. Let's make all three of these like so. That sounds about right for a build-up, and then we slowly want to let go of the auto filter so that it really feels like a build-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to select that knob, and then let's zoom in here a little bit, and let's take the automation out that's in place right now, and slowly build up to letting all the high tones in, so like this. That may be a little bit too sharp, so I'm going to take it down just a notch in the end. Okay, so that's it, that instrument. We need to do a bunch more. So let's, for example, go back to all the way to the beginning where we have this sort of fizzle in the background effect. We can use that a little bit. Let's drag it over. And let's only use the first half of it. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so instead of building this one up, we're going to build this one down. So let's click on that knob in the auto filter once again. Get rid of the automation here. And take that one down instead. But first, I'm gonna make it sort of down low and then up, and then it will feel very sub bass-ish when it gets later on because of the sounds in this synthesizer. So let's see what this sounds like. Perfect. All right, that's that instrument. We got that covered. Okay, so now let's go to the wobbles. And what we want to do is we want to slowly start wobbling up with this build up, and we don't want to tweak that same sound in here because we're going to make some changes to the sound. So I'm just going to rename this track and call it soft wobble, because by the time we start working on the drop it will be a louder wobble. And then we're going to rename this track number 10. We're going to rename it sort of a lead synth. And then this track here, what was this? The sub bass, so let's rename that also. Sub. Perfect. Alright, so let's duplicate this soft wobble track. And as you can see, immediately that red button turns back on again because you know, we'll start tweaking it. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of everything here and then look at the automation And basically there's no dots in automation right now, so if I turn it back off, it is just fine. Yeah, that's perfect. So now let's open up the massive, and let's start tweaking a couple knobs here. For example, the time that we want to travel between notes, we can take that up because that's great for risers. So let's see what that sounds like. I don't have the right track soloed here, and this red one means the input of the keyboard goes to this one. That's a little too fast, so excellent. Alright, let's make the LFO a little bit faster. We'll leave it around 8. Perfect. And so now we need to add some notes here. Insert a MIDI clip. Hello, where's my MIDI clip? There we go. So we'll start with the E1, and then we'll play a higher E around there and drag that one out, but not start it at the beginning, because then this note will register as the first one. We want this note to register as the first one, and then as soon as the other one registers, it starts working on that slow time build up. Let's see what this sounds like. Perfect. I thought I'd have to tweak that time knob a little more, but it actually sounds good. And so on this one, we want to add a auto filter also to slowly let the high tones in. So let's set a sort of a keyframe here, and then at the end, let's see what this sounds like. Let's see what it sounds like in the rest of the mix. I'm going to start it just a little bit lower. Actually, it sounded better the way it was. Alright, so we have that. Now we need to start working on the build up for the kicks, so we'll do that in the next part.